Hello listeners and welcome to Team 1's recording of this week's West Lothian Boomerang, your talking newspaper. Our engineer tonight is Paul and the readers are myself, Wendy.
Myself, Linda.
Myself, Steve.
And George.
Andrew.
The articles are taken with permission from this week's issue of the West Lothian Courier dated the 18th of September. And the lead story is Terminal Cancer News Reignites Passion for Iconic Brand. I'm planning my own funeral brick by brick. Brave William wants to be laid to rest with a Lego-themed send-off. An article by Iona Young. A dad who received a terminal cancer diagnosis has planned his own Lego-themed funeral and is living by his motto, go big or go home. William White, 61, from Livingston, was first diagnosed with colon cancer in February 2020 after noticing he was losing weight and had blood in his stools. In August 2023, during a routine scan appointment, William received the news his colon cancer was stage 4 and terminal. During treatment, William reignited his childhood passion for Lego and now has nearly 70 sets, including Formula 1 cars, flowers and even a castle which he's building with his wife. His love for Lego has helped him plan his own funeral, which will feature a Lego-themed coffin and order of service, and he wants to encourage others to live their life as if it's their last full day. And the story continues. Terminally ill dad plans his own funeral with Lego theme. A father of 3 who joked about being the fittest guy he knows before receiving a now terminal cancer diagnosis has planned his own Lego-themed funeral and is living by his motto, go big or go home. William White, 61, from Livingston in West Lothian, was first diagnosed with colon cancer in February 2020 after noticing he was losing weight and had blood in his stools. William, a former software developer who lives with his 58-year-old wife Ellie and his 3 children, Ross, 38, Cheryl, 36 and Hayley, 29, said he underwent surgery and chemotherapy, but he relapsed. In August 2023, during a routine scan appointment, William received the news his colon cancer was stage 4 and terminal, with an average prognosis of 2.5 years. During treatment, William reignited his childhood passion for Lego and now has nearly 70 sets, including Formula 1 cars, flowers and even a castle which he's building with his wife. His love for Lego has helped him plan his own funeral, which will feature a Lego-themed coffin and order of service, and he wants to encourage others to live their life as if it's their last day. Christmas 2019, I'm talking about being the fittest guy, the fittest 55-year-old I know, and within weeks I'm diagnosed with colon cancer and my world has been turned upside down, William told PA Real Life. Now my mission is raising awareness about stage 4, that you can still go out and do special things when you have cancer. You can still make memories. My time is limited and I'm going to make absolutely the most of what I've got. I tell everyone just to live their life as if it's their last day. Speaking about the motto he lives by, he added, go big or go home. Before his initial diagnosis, William was fairly fit and active, and a keen cyclist, riding around 200 miles per month. However, in December 2019, he started losing weight and noticed blood in his stools. After seeing his GP, he was sent for a colonoscopy, a test to check inside the bowels, and he was diagnosed with colon cancer in February 2020. I had surgery to remove part of my colon. I had chemo and everything was okay for a couple of years, he explained. I went for a routine scan in 2022 and found out my cancer had returned. When William relapsed, he learned the cancer had spread to his pelvis and he underwent further surgery to remove the cancerous tissue, along with more chemotherapy. He said chemotherapy has left him with nerve damage called peripheral neuropathy, which means he has numbness in the soles of his feet, but he has otherwise tolerated the treatment reasonably well. However, after going to hospital for the results of a routine scan in August 2023, William was told his colon cancer was stage 4. I saw my oncologist, she sat me down and she basically said the cancer had returned and it was inoperable and incurable, he said. If I'm being honest, that's all I heard that day. He added, it'll sound like the most ridiculous thing on the planet, but my wife and I had been to the cinema the previous night and saw the Mission Impossible film, which ended up being in 2 parts. And the first thing that came into my mind when I got told I was stage 4 was I might not see the second part of the film. I didn't think about how I was going to tell my children or my dad or my sister or my grandchildren. The mind works in a strange way. William learned the cancer had spread from his colon to his peritoneum, a membrane lining the abdominal cavity, and the average prognosis was 2.5 years. He said the NHS had been absolutely wonderful, but at this point he was advised to make the most of his private health care through his work, as it would give him more options. He is now having regular checkups and undergoing a new type of chemotherapy and taking tablets, and he has good weeks and bad weeks. He experiences stomach cramps, pain and other bowel issues, but he makes the most of the good days. My wife is taking 6 months off work so we can spend more time together, because obviously you don't want any regrets, William said. So if we have a good day, then we'll go out and do something like going out for lunch or have a drive. Just after his stage 4 diagnosis, William started something called Will I Am's Making Memories Tour. He said he has featured in a short film, seen Kylie Minogue perform live twice, been on several holidays, and as a Formula 1 fan, visited the Red Bull factory on a tour. I never thought I'd get another holiday when I found out I was terminal, he said. The tour is about making the most of your life and doing as many different things as I possibly can with the time I've got left. Having loved Lego as a child, William's passion for it was reignited while going through treatment, particularly during the COVID-19 lockdowns, as he was unable to leave the house. What started with one Lego car has turned into a collection of nearly 70 sets, including Formula 1 cars and flowers, which he displays in bookcases and on shelves and windowsills around his home. Lego just became a go-to, and then people started buying it for me, and it became out of hand, he said. I ended up milking 2 birthday parties for my 60th, but they were both Lego-themed, with Lego bunting, a Lego cake and a Lego figure of me, and that's how it started. At his wife's suggestion, William also started planning his funeral to ensure his final wishes are fulfilled and to alleviate any stress for his family. Along with a Lego-themed coffin and order of service and a Lego keepsake, William has written his own eulogy and planned his music, including Never Forget by Take That, which is his daddy-daughter song with his eldest daughter Cheryl. The day is supposed to be about remembering the person, so I thought, I'm all in on this one, William said. It's an incredibly sad day, but I just wanted to do my story my way. And there are some pictures with William standing in front of a lot of his Lego cars, and some pictures along with his family as well.
New speed limits given thumbs up, an article by Stuart Somerville. New speed limits in the streets of northern Livingston are common sense, councillors have agreed. But some residents say there is a need for public engagement, saying the streets are too busy to warrant official limits being put in place. One councillor warned that signage will have to be really good. Kenneth Brown, the council's road network manager, outlined plans for the introduction of a national 20 miles per hour speed limit strategy to a meeting of Livingston North Local Area Committee. Conservative Alison Adamson said, I think a lot of it is common sense. Anybody who thinks that doing any more than 20 miles an hour outside of a school is a good idea needs their head examined and certainly shouldn't have a driving licence. But she warned that existing signage around St Margaret's Academy off Alderston Road was already confusing. She added, I think we're all going to be aware that people will need time to get used to it. Signage is going to have to be really good because it can be easy when you're concentrating on driving to not know what speed you're doing. Councillor Andrew Miller said, I think the majority of the ward is moving from advisory to mandatory 20 miles per hour, and I think it's welcome. Colin Lewis from Carmondine Community Council said a lot of people had asked why the legislation was necessary. He added, it's for good reasons, but I think there is going to have to be a lot of community engagement. A lot of the roads you look at, it's just not possible to do 20 miles per hour anyway, because of the number of cars parked. A lot of people are saying that. Councillor Adamson asked how residents could fight the proposals if they disagreed. Mr Brown said the council would seek engagement with residents before the temporary restrictions in place were made permanent. He added, "The work that officers have done is quite robust, and we would hope that residents would welcome it." Gordon Brown, the Roads and Transportation Service Manager and lead officer for the local area committee, assured councillors that the public can give feedback through a specially set up council website. He added, "When the consultation is carried out, there will be an opportunity to feedback. The consultation will be available on the website, but we will also be putting up small posters telling people to scan QR codes to allow them to feedback to the consultation directly." A report to councillors said, "Most residential roads in West Lothian currently have advisory 20 mph speed limits in place, and these will be changed to mandatory 20 mph speed limits. The link roads in Livingston will generally remain at their current speed limits. The design of the road network means there is reduced pedestrian traffic on these roads, and they provide strategic public transport corridors. By maintaining the existing speed limit on these roads, the impact on journey times should be minimal. The exception to this is where link roads pass close to schools or shopping areas. The remaining roads with 40 mph, 50 mph and rural speed limits have not been part of this review, and the speed limits on these roads will not change."
Stranger saves granny from XL bully mauling. Man steps in to tackle dog in shocking incident. This is an article by John Paul Clark. A West Lothian woman has thanked the man who came to her rescue as she was being mauled by an XL bully in the street. Leslie Ann Robinson, 63, was attacked while out walking her granddaughter's Millie's puppy B on Marina Road in Bathgate on Thursday, September the 11th. The gran of 6 said as soon as she saw the XL bully approaching alongside a man and a woman without a leash or a muzzle, she knew something was going to happen. The beast latched onto B's neck and ripped into Leslie Ann's arms and fingers and knocked her to the ground before a mystery man came to her rescue. Leslie Ann suffered 2 deep lacerations and a number of cuts and believes the man saved her life. She explained, "The dog just appeared, and before I could react, it just went straight for B and grabbed her by the neck. Adrenaline surged through me, and without thinking, I lunged at it and tried to get it off B, but it wouldn't release its grip. I was getting desperate, so I put my hand in its mouth, but nothing seemed to be working. I screamed at the owners, but the woman turned her back and said she couldn't look at what was happening, and the man just said, 'What do you want me to do?' It had knocked me off my feet and was biting me and B, so I was really beginning to panic when out of nowhere a man appeared. Somehow he managed to pull the XL bully off of us, and the owners quickly grabbed it and took it away. The man said he saw what was happening from his window and left his child indoors alone, so he had to go, but I didn't even get a chance to say thank you. Amid the confusion, B darted away and Leslie Ann staggered back to her house in a daze. B was there waiting, and when she sat down on her front doorstep, the realisation that the pair of them could have been killed hit home. Leslie Ann phoned her daughter, who promptly arrived and took her to St John's Hospital in Livingston and B to the vet. She continued, "My chest started to hurt when I got home, and I didn't know if I was suffering from a heart attack. I was given a chest x-ray at the hospital, and thankfully it was just badly bruised from when I was wrestling with the dog on the ground. B has 3 deep cuts on her neck, and we have to go back to the vet on Monday to find out if she needs an operation. Mentally, I've been completely traumatised, and it will take a long time to recover from this. I'm lucky to be alive, and if that man hadn't arrived, I wouldn't have been able to stop the dog from attacking us. I look after B during the day for my 17-year-old granddaughter Millie while she's at college. She's a tiny wee thing, and I couldn't stop thinking of what would happen if it was her who was walking B. A community council meeting has already been held in the area after a number of incidents were reported about the same XL bully. However, Leslie claims police have told her they are powerless to act as she intervened in a dog-on-dog attack. She continued, "The police have been in touch and said they are passing this incident on to partner agencies and are unable to remove the dog because it didn't attack me first. This dog has been a problem in the area for a long time, and people are afraid to walk their dogs. They can't wait until it kills somebody before they do something. Councillor Harry Cartmill said, "I chaired a public meeting months ago to try and support my constituents living in fear of this dog and the owner's antisocial behaviours. Afterwards, I met with Police Scotland, but no substantive action was forthcoming. I also appealed to West Lothian Council's housing officers in terms of securing an eviction, and again, nothing was done. And now we have this terrible and indeed avoidable incident. It's too late for this latest victim, but surely now the police and the council will act." A Police Scotland spokesperson said, "Around 4:30 p.m. on Thursday, September the 11th, we received a report of a dog attacked by another dog on Marina Road, Bathgate. This incident has been referred to the relevant partner agencies." The West Lothian Council spokesperson said, "Under the Dangerous Dogs Act, issues with prohibited breeds, such as XL bullies and dogs' bites on humans, are both a matter for Police Scotland. Any information that the council receives on either of these issues will be shared with Police Scotland."
Work of food pantry hailed by councillors. A West Lothian village, which has saved its food pantry from closure, now hopes to expand services to local people. New links with food suppliers have been set up, and the pantry welcomes around 40 visitors a week in Bridgend. Local councillor Pauline Orr paid tribute to the villagers, saying the food hub had become a lifeline offering not just food but friendship. And at this month's meeting of the Linlithgow Ward Local Area Committee, the chair, Sally Patel, praised Councillor Orr for her efforts in helping the voluntary service survive. Councillor Patel said, "It really should be recognised how much work you have done to get that up and running, so thank you very much." Douglas Grierson, the Council's regenerative team leader, told the committee in a report, "Following a number of changes during the year, the food pantry has stabilised and grown, with new local volunteers building its service provision through linking in with Fair Share and Neighbourly. This has helped them to provide a good range of food and support on a regular basis. It is important to build on this in relation to ensuring that, where needed, wider partner advice and services can be linked in to the clients." Councillor Orr told the local Democracy Reporting Service, "Towards the end of 2024, funding cuts and a drop in volunteers left the service struggling. But the villagers, Tina and Andy, alongside long-standing volunteer Christine, stepped in to revive the food hub. With Councillor Orr's support, the team re-established links with Neighbourly to secure weekly food donations from M&S, Sainsbury's and Aldi. In March 2025, they also opened an account with Fair Share, bringing food products to local people." Councillor Orr added, "The hub now welcomes around 40 visitors each week, with queues often forming before opening. It has grown into a lively social space, drawing people from the neighbouring villages and offering a friendly point of contact for those who may otherwise feel isolated." Looking ahead, the team plans to launch a tool library for gardening and decorating equipment and hopes to host advice sessions from services such as Citizens Advice and the Advice Shop, making support more accessible to the community. Councillors agree that many in the village had wanted to create or revitalise large garden areas for growing food, but the high cost of buying tools was a barrier, as was tool storage. Councillor Orr said, "The Bridgend Food Hub has become a lifeline, not just for food, but for friendship and connection. It's a place where people look out for each other, and I'm proud to support it. With exciting new plans on the horizon, the future of the hub looks very bright.
Councillor calls for bus pledge by First Minister Swinney, an article by Stuart Somerville. A veteran Labour West Lothian councillor has called on John Swinney, the First Minister, to make the same forever commitment to buses as he did last week on cheap rail fares. The council's executive heard details of a £240,000 one-off funding to improve bus stop infrastructure across the county. Linlithgow's Tom Conn said passengers needed the confidence of ongoing funding of the bus services, adding it would be great if we could get forever funding to develop the bus network. Nicola Gill, the council's public transport manager, revealed details of the allocated spending under the new Bus Infrastructure Fund. Tier 1 funding has been directly allocated to the local authorities, and West Lothian's share is £241,000. Tier 2 funding is on an application-only basis. A report to the Council's executive said that a list of improvement schemes suitable under Tier 1 funding rules has been collated using existing accessibility and infrastructure improvement request lists. And an application for Tier 2 funding has been submitted by the West Lothian Bus Alliance to recommend projects previously active under the Bus Partnership Fund. The executive approved around 30 improvement projects across the county. The work ranges in costs from £35,000 for footpath improvements to bus stops in Dedridge, Livingston, to an average of around £5,000 per job on schemes in other wards around West Lothian. The work includes bus shelter renewal, footpath improvements, improved access such as dropped curbs and handrails at the county's 500 bus shelters. The Tier 2 funding covers modifications of the Almondvale Avenue junction and a review of bus stop modification and feasibility studies. Councillor Pauline Stafford, the SNP Group Deputy Leader, asked if improvements could be made to St John's Hospital more accessible to the bus users. Her request followed news of the restoration of a service to Livingston Village. Ms Gill said she would be happy to look at potential improvements from moving shelter closer to the hospital. Councillor Conn asked, is there any indication that funding for services will be on a recurring basis? Ms Gill confirmed there was not. Councillor Conn said, we need to know if more funding is forthcoming and the potential timescales. Referring to First Minister John Swinney's announcement that peak rail fares were gone for good, Councillor Conn said, the scrapping of peak rail fares is forever. That's a long time. It would be good if we could get bus funding forever to develop the network, not just in West Lothian, but across Scotland. If that kind of certainty is good enough for rail passengers, it's good enough for bus passengers. That would help the travelling public. And there's a picture of Councillor Conn addressing the meeting.
Cops hunt man after car torched. An article by Nicholas Milizia. Police are appealing for information after a Ford Fiesta was set on fire in West Lothian. The incident took place on Wednesday, September the 10th, when a black Ford Fiesta was deliberately set on fire in the West Holmes Place area of Uphall. Officers are now attempting to locate a man who was spotted in the area at the time of the fire. Police Scotland officials have assured the public that no one was injured during the incident and that the fire was extinguished by the Scottish Fire and Rescue Service. The person of interest was wearing all black clothing and cycling on a pedal bike. Police are urging members of the public to come forward with any information. A message from Police Scotland reads, detectives are appealing for information following a willful fire raising in Uphall. Around 12:50am on Wednesday, September the 10th, 2025, a black Ford Fiesta was deliberately set on fire in the West Holmes Place area. Emergency services attended and the fire was extinguished by Scottish Fire and Rescue Service. There are no reports of any injuries. Officers are keen to trace a man who was seen in the area at the time. He's described as wearing all black clothing and cycling on a pedal bike. Detective Constable Francis Sinnott added, I'm asking anyone who was in the area at the time and who may have witnessed something suspicious to get in touch. Similarly, anyone with private doorbell footage, CCTV or dashcam footage is urged to contact us as you may have captured what happened. Anyone with information should contact Police Scotland on 101, quoting incident 0127 of the 10th of September.
Darting delight as new store opens at centre, an article by Ross Thompson. It's game on for West Lothian darts fans with the opening of a new store stocking the latest equipment and accessories. Arrowheads opened its first store in Scotland at the Centre Livingston on September the 14th, stocking the latest darts equipment, dartboards and flights, and will also feature 6 state-of-the-art high-tech dart-playing lanes. The family business was co-founded by Cameron Clark, an avid darts player, who opened his first store in Norwich last August. Plans are in the pipeline to expand further across the UK due to the increased popularity in darts, partly due to young stars like Luke the Nuke Littler, who won the 2025 World Championship, which brought a new generation of fans to the sport. The 2,343 square foot store at the Centre Livingston offers a try before you buy policy on over 100 sets, as well as a darts repointing service. The darts lanes, designed for players of all skill levels, will feature an automated real-time scoring system, game analytics, and have access to remote online competitions. There will be 4 lanes, which can be booked by the hour for up to 4 people, and also 2 try-before-you-buy lanes. Cameron Clark, co-founder and CEO at Arrowheads, said Scotland has one of the best dart scenes in Europe and produced some of the game's greatest legends. We're very proud and excited to be serving Scotland's darts community in a location as great as the Centre Livingston. Arrowheads will add to the existing wide mix of over 150 stores and restaurants at the shopping centre, including M&S, Flannels, River Island, H&M, Chidey Sports, Lush, Wagamama and Nando's, spanning over 1 million square feet and attracting over 14 million visitors a year from around the country. New arrivals over the last year include Lassagunas, Rituals, Soulstream Green, a 90-seat Starbucks, and last week the jewellers F. Hines. Rakesh Joshi, director, said, "We are delighted to welcome the leading darts equipment and accessories store Arrowheads to the Centre Livingston, which is a great time for us as we continue to add to our extensive offering of places to shop, eat and play for our visitors. The cutting-edge lanes are guaranteed to be a big hit with fans of the sport and those who are trying it out for the first time who can enjoy an authentic darts playing experience."
Perfect shootout show sends Rose into next round of Cup, and this is an article by Paul Thompson. Linlithgow Rose assistant boss Darren Wilson praised his players for their bravery in their perfect penalty shootout win over Clydebank in the South Challenge Cup. After a fairly uneventful first half, the game came to life after the break with a red card and a goal apiece for the Lowland League rivals. The Bankies drew first blood in 48 minutes when Lee Gallagher netted from close range, but they were then reduced to 10 men when Matt Niven saw red for violent conduct after an altercation with Lucas Stenhouse. Rose's task was made even harder when they too were reduced to 10, with Stenhouse seeing red for a late tackle on Dean Cairns. However, they dug deep and in the 4th minute of stoppage time got their reward when Skinner headed home from a corner to force penalties. The Gallant scored all 5 of their kicks, with the Bankies missing 1, allowing Rose to reach the third round 5-3 on penalties. And Wilson said it was a great game. The quality of Clydebank in terms of coming up from the West of Scotland League, unbeaten last season. We knew it was going to be a tough challenging match. In the first half, I think we just sized each other up, and there were very few changes. It was a bit of a test of shape, and we were delighted to be in the next round of the Cup. Second half, James Berry is down, and it is a foul for us. James is unable to get back into shape from that, and they score from that situation. The referee said he was allowing James to get back up, but he hasn't done that, which leaves us 1v1 at the back. When they went down to 10 men, it was only a matter of time before we scored. Lucas has slipped, you can see that, and I think it's a very harsh sending off. We are 1-0 down at home in front of a big crowd, so we were always going to throw caution to the wind. I think we deserve to get a draw out of the game. Penalties is a lottery, but credit to the guys for stepping up. All the takers wanted to take one of the 5, which is a credit to them all. It shows the camaraderie in the group, and it will bring everyone closer together. Rose are back in league action on Friday night when they travel to East Stirling. And there's a picture of Darren Wilson there, a delighted Darren Wilson, sort of running up the touchline and sort of screaming at the camera.
Short-term hotel plans thrown out. Plans to turn a former frozen food store in Bathgate's town centre into a 39-bed short-term let hotel has been rejected by West Lothian councillors. The Development Management Committee heard local councillor Pauline Stafford slate cramped rooms with not even space for a chair and a lack of staff or guest facilities in the building which had recently housed farm foods. Planners have recommended the proposals for the 2-storey building which occupies a town centre plot next to the Partnership Centre in South Bridge Street. The retail unit has lain empty since Farm Foods moved to new premises in Bathgate in late 2021. Mumtaz Hussain applied for planning permission for the change of use of the former shop to form a short-term letting accommodation over both the ground and the first level of the building, as well as changes to door openings and windows. The move from retail to hotel or hostel use is with the rules for town centres. A report to the DMC said the application includes the formation of 39 short-term let rooms over 2 floors, each with an ensuite shower facility. Access to the building is proposed through the entrance into South Bridge Street, whereby there would be a staff reception area. A report to the meeting advised the proposed use of letting rooms is compatible with the surrounding uses of Bathgate Town Centre. There were 4 objections to the application. One said there is no requirement for additional short-term accommodation in the area, with the former Decal building at the rear being utilised for this purpose. I believe we should be encouraging a growth in the local economy and supporting businesses to use these empty retail spaces as opposed to repurposing buildings as short-term let accommodation. Another short-term lets by their nature do not provide the same stability and job opportunities for the local workforce that established businesses such as hotels and inns offer. We need permanent and consistent investment that will help revitalise our local economy, not more accommodation options that predominantly serve transient guests and offer minimum economic return in terms of long-term employment or local engagement. In July last year, councillors expressed concern when developers won permission to convert the local Dacol premises in Gardeners Lane into 25 short-term let flats. With only 20 parking spaces for the new development, Chair of the committee, Harry Cartmill, Bathgate's Labour councillor, raised concern about the parking around the building, given that the nearest possible public parking was at the foot of the very steep Gardeners Lane. Fellow Town Councillor Stafford moved to refuse the application, pointing out that there were now almost 300 hotel beds in the town, most used as short-term accommodation for the homeless. She said, "We have more than enough hotel accommodation in Bathgate." Senior Planning Officer Tony Irvin told the meeting, "We don't know exactly who would be the client group. It could be tourists. It could be people working in the area." Councillor Group Leader, Councillor Damien Doran-Timpson, had warned there was a danger of falling into the trap of "not on my doorstep, but somewhere else." Nevertheless, he expressed doubts about the number and quality of jobs promised by the development. Councillor Stafford said, "It is an over-concentration of rooms for a town the size of Bathgate. The design of this is very poor. There are windows right onto a busy pavement. Parking is an issue. The rooms are very cramped. I doubt very much if you could have wheelchair access." Councillor Pauline Clark, who seconded refusal, said the hotel would be to house homeless people and added it's doubtful this hotel will add any vitality to Bathgate.
Gold Ambassador Award. Opportunities are golden for school with big ambitions. An article by Ross Thompson. Linlithgow Academy has been named as West Lothian's first Gold Ambassador school for their commitment to providing educational and vocational opportunities for every student. The school received the distinguished accolade from the Scottish Credit and Qualifications Framework, SCQF, recognising the school's dedication to delivering inclusive, flexible and forward-thinking educational pathways. Gold Ambassador status is only given to schools who can demonstrate they recognise wider achievements, enhance senior phase pathways, promoting equality between vocational and academic qualifications. It reflects a whole school commitment to embedding the SCQF framework across curriculum design, leadership and community engagement. Linlithgow Academy's selection among Scotland's gold tier SCQF ambassador schools places it in esteemed company with only around 30 schools nationwide achieving the highest level of gold recognition. As an SCQF gold level school, Linlithgow Academy demonstrates an integration of the SCQF in its practices, offering a broad array of senior phase learning opportunities tailored to students' needs and ambitions. Linlithgow Academy's Deputy Head Teacher, Alison Bullock, said, "We are proud to offer a curriculum that is ambitious, inclusive and responsive to every learner's journey." Being awarded SCQF Gold Ambassador status truly reflects the passion and dedication of our students, staff and community. Key highlights of the SCQF Ambassador Programme at Linlithgow Academy include empowering school leadership. S5 and S6 pupils serve as SCQF ambassadors, acting as peer mentors, role models and advocates. They lead presentations in personal and social education, PSE, host course choice evening, support the induction of new ambassadors, and represent SCQF initiatives at whole school events. Many earn formal recognition via the SCQF Level 6 Leadership Awards. An SCQF ambassador student said, "It's really rewarding to be part of something that helps younger pupils see the different pathways available to them. We've learned so much about leadership and teamwork through this role." For future skills development, the school offers an SCQF Level 6 Future Skills Bundle blending leadership, personal development, religious beliefs and values, and optional studies in psychology, sociology, and philosophy. This encourages critical thinking, resilience, employability, moral leadership, and community action, preparing students for lifelong success. The school also values community and parental involvement. The Academy fosters strong family and community ties through its annual Careers and Senior Phase Engagement Evening, welcoming staff, employers and ambassadors. Communication is further supported via the school website app, social media and termly newsletters, ensuring parents are well informed and engaged. Linlithgow Academy's Developing Young Workforce lead Rachel Bryson said, "This award highlights how SCQF is not just about qualifications but about building confidence, employability skills and resilience in our young people. It is fantastic to see students taking ownership of their learning journeys." West Lothian's Executive Councillor for Education Andrew Maguire added, "Many congratulations to the staff and students at Linlithgow Academy on becoming the first school in West Lothian to achieve SCQF Gold Ambassador status. It's important our students understand the range of different pathways to succeed that are open to them, to help them make the right decisions for their future." And there's a lovely picture of 2 unnamed pupils and 2 unnamed teachers holding up the Gold Award plaque.
And now we have the intimations, and this week there is one death. Tom Fisher, Eastfield, Hart Hill, suddenly at home on the 5th of September 2025, aged 73 years, much loved and sadly missed by all family and friends. Funeral will be on the 19th of September 2025, 11 a.m. at West Lothian Crematorium, Livingston. Now, before we continue with the local news, I'd like to hand you over to one of our readers, Steve, who would like to tell you a little bit about a challenge he's participating in next year, along with some fundraising. So over to you, Steve.
Thanks, Wendy. Yeah, hi everyone. It's Steve here with some news of some fundraising that's happening on the 5th of October, which is Sunday at Carmen Dean Morrison's between 10 and 6. So after a 7-year break, I'm going to be running the London Marathon again in April, this time raising money for Dementia UK. And this is a charity that provides help, care and advice for both sufferers and carers through their Admiral nurses. And I'm hoping to raise over £3,000, and I'm actually almost halfway there. So I'll be conducting a bag pack at the store on actually I've just said Sunday the 6th there, and I've already said Sunday the 5th. So it is the Sunday. I'm not sure if the 5th or 6th, but I'll check that. So I'll be there all day, and if you want to come along and donate or just to say hi, then you're more than welcome. So Sunday the 6th of October, 10 to 6 at Morrison's, Carmen Dean in Livingston. You can also visit my Just Giving page, which is justgiving.com/page/Stephen, that's STEPHEN -Corall, CORRALL -7 for more information. Thanks very much, and back to Wendy.
And now we'll continue with the local news. Dentist expansion confirmed, an article by Michael Pringle. A rapidly expanding village in West Lothian is set to open wide and welcome its first dental practice. The brand new purpose-built clinic in Winchborough, one of Scotland's fastest growing villages, will open its doors later this year. Advanced Dentistry Winchborough is set to bring high-quality oral care to residents in and around the village and marks the latest development from family-founded Scottish Dental Care. The state-of-the-art 5-surgery facility is designed with patient care and comfort at its core. The dental clinic represents a significant investment into the growing village and is located within the master plan development that's transforming Winchborough into a significant commuter town. The wider development includes the creation of more than 3,800 new homes, an 85-acre park, new M9 junction and a marina linked to the Union Canal. Dr Philip Friel, co-founder and director of dentistry at Scottish Dental Care, said, "Winchborough is growing rapidly and we recognised a clear need for local access to high-quality dental care. Our new advanced dentistry clinic gives us an opportunity to bring modern, digitally led dentistry to a community that until now has had to travel for many of these services. Our aim has been to create a practice that feels calm, welcoming and patient-focused, while also being equipped with everything our clinicians need to provide exceptional care in a safe and comfortable environment. From the refined and eco-friendly furnishings in the patient lounge to the 5 brand new surgeries, every detail has been carefully considered with the patient in mind. We're building a team that can deliver comprehensive, personalised oral care from general and cosmetic dentistry to the full range of dental implant, restorative treatments and hygiene therapy, all supported by the very latest technology. This is a strong step forward not just for patients in Winchborough, but also a reflection of our continued investment in our network of practices across the region. Built-out of the clinic is now underway and follows the £1.5 million investment in the transformation of 3 of Scottish Dental Care's East Coast practices. Advanced Dentistry Winchborough will welcome private and dental plan patients, with a limited number of spaces available for children and family members under the age of 26 to receive treatment under NHS services. Scottish Dental Care CEO Lynn Hood said, "Winchborough is a great example of how we're continuing to grow in a way that balances quality care with patient aspirations. It offers an incredible opportunity not just for patients, but for dentists, hygienists and support staff looking to join a forward-thinking, quality-led environment. Clinicians working here will benefit from a strong support network and access to the best equipment, training and career development. This isn't just a new clinic, it's a statement of how we feel dentistry should evolve to meet modern expectations." Scottish Dental Care is actively investing and sustainably expanding with a portfolio of 23 clinics with a strong commitment to exceptional patient care. Its advanced dentistry brand represents a centre of excellence for sophisticated treatments, including restorative, implant and cosmetic dentistry and facial aesthetics. The organisation also prides itself on offering industry-leading training and remuneration packages for its dental professionals, ensuring its practices attract and retain top talent. Prospective patients can pre-register their interest by completing a form at www.advanceddentistryscotland.com/Winchborough. For more information about Scottish Dental Care, visit www.scottishdentalcare.co.uk and www.advanceddentistryscotland.com.
Super Summer has big heart and huge zest for life. This is an unattributed article, but it's a Dogs Trust Give a Dog a New Life article. Meet Summer, a bright, enthusiastic 9-month-old pup with a zest for life and a big heart to match. After a rocky start to her young life, Summer is now looking for a forever family who can offer her the stability, patience and structure she needs to thrive. This clever young dog is full of energy and curiosity. She's also a social butterfly who enjoys the company of other dogs, though her excitement sometimes gets the better of her. Summer would benefit from ongoing training to help her learn polite greetings and calm interactions with both canine and human friends. While she's always ready for an adventure, Summer sometimes finds it difficult to wind down, so a calm and supportive home environment would be ideal to help her learn that rest is just as important as play. She's a quick learner and would thrive with people who are interested in positive, reward-based training and can dedicate the time to guide her as she grows. Summer is already a large girl and is still growing, so her future family should be comfortable with big, bouncy dogs who don't always know their size. To find out more about Summer and all the dogs patiently waiting to be adopted at Dogs Trust West Calder, visit dogstrust.org.uk/West Calder. Now, there's a lovely photograph of Summer. She's sitting nicely, having her photograph taken, wearing her harness. And I know the article hasn't mentioned what kind of dog Summer is. It's not obvious, but she has some sort of cross. She's got a lovely black face with black and brown markings on her fur.
Before I read the other article, just to confirm, it is Sunday the 5th of October, my backpack. Okay, sorry for the confusion. Okay, the next article is called Dog Attack Caught on Camera, and it's an article by Eve Beattie. The shocking moment a West Lothian man allegedly hammer-punched and kicked a dog was caught on camera by a passerby. The horrifying incident happened at around 7:45 p.m. on September the 3rd near Cochrane Street in Bathgate and was witnessed by a local who described the scene as absolutely awful. Residents have since voiced their outrage and are desperate to raise awareness about the attack, reports Edinburgh Live. In the distressing footage, a man dressed in black can be seen walking his dog through the park before aggressively yanking the lead. He then crouches down and appears to throw punches at the animal. The clip was shared by Bathgate Market and Car Boot Sale, who said, "I never usually post things like this, but what I witnessed tonight, Wednesday, September the 3rd, at 7:45 p.m. in the park behind Cochrane Street in Bathgate was absolutely awful. This man was kicking and hammer-punching his dog repeatedly because it wouldn't come back to him. It went on for several minutes. The police are being made aware, but I feel I need to share this publicly. If he is willing to do this in public, I dread to think what is happening behind closed doors. If anyone recognises this man, please report it to the police. This poor dog deserves protection." The incident has been reported to both the SSPCA and the police, and I am now awaiting updates from them in relation to this. Thank you to everyone who has reached out with concern and support. I'll share any further information when I can. But for now, the matter is in the hands of the proper authorities. Police Scotland have been approached for comment.
It's game on for pupils with a major award. Pupils at West Lothian Primary School were delighted to pick a prestigious award. Kids at Southdale Primary School in Armadale celebrated being awarded the Gold School Sports Award. Children were able to try a whole host of sports, including basketball, gymnastics, boccia and taekwondo. Head teacher Vicky Fish said, "This award is recognition of our school's achievements in putting sport at the heart of our planning, practice and ethos." The Gold Award also highlights that our school has shown excellent practice and demonstrates an ongoing commitment to increasing young people's opportunities and engagement in physical education, school sport and leadership, and it provides clear pathways to lifelong participation in sport. A huge well done to our full staff team and all the sports leaders past and present. A special thanks to Mrs Hughes and Miss Parker for supporting sport across the school over the last few years. Primary 7 Southdale pupil Connor added, "Everyone is so proud that we have got this award because we have worked really hard for the last few years to make sure everyone can be involved in sports at our school and to plan fun things like sports days, tournaments and challenges. And our teachers and the pupils involved in accepting the award are in a bright and colourful picture holding various different balls, rugby ball, football and a tennis racket, and look very pleased and delighted with their award.
New mast approved by Council, an article by Stuart Somerville. Plans for a gigantic mobile phone mast have been approved by West Lothian Council after developers warned refusal would simply see them build an even bigger one. The planned new telecoms mast in Uphall will upgrade facilities which have already been in place for 20 years, it was claimed. And the application for a 56-foot, 17 metres, 5-storey high mast was a concession, councillors heard this week, with the industry standard now being 74 foot, 22.5 metres. Councillors accepted the argument but bristled at the insulting tone of the applicant's response, which said that if refused they would simply build a taller one under permitted development rights. An agent for Daclor McLaren argued that the 17-metre mast was a concession because the site in East Main Street, Uphall, is a conservation area. He added, "That is pretty unusual for the industry anywhere in 2025. Everything is now based on connectivity and improving capacity." Mobile telecoms network capacity demand means taller and bigger masts, he added. He said the planning application had been made because the applicant had had to change the designs of the Uphall site. Labour's Tom Conn told a meeting of the Development Management Committee that the applicants should have explained themselves better at the outset. Criticising the response from an agent for Daclor McLaren Utilities Company, Councillor Conn said that at the beginning of the industry, telecom firms had worked with communities citing instances of a mast being disguised as a tree in an Edinburgh conservation area. As the industry had developed, that readiness to work with local authorities had changed, he suggested. He added they should explain what they were doing and why they were doing it. In a letter to the DMC, an agent for Daclor McLaren said, "Please be advised that should the application be refused at committee, the applicant retains a fallback position where they will redesign the placement of the apparatus to ensure the new mast sits within the 6 metres of the existing one. In such an instance, a new mast can be deployed under permitted development rights, PD, up to a height of 22.5 metres without needing any permission or planning approval." Councillor Tony Boyle branded the response as a bit intimidating, while Councillor Conn said it was insulting to the committee, which had legitimate concerns, and bad PR for the telecoms industry. He added, "I find that insulting. We did have concerns and we had a conversation about it, and we're basically getting told if you refuse, if we'll use permitted rights." Chair of the committee, Councillor Harry Cartmel, added, "That's a point well made." The agent said the 22-metre mast were now standard. He added that the current 15-metre mast in Uphall had been in place for 20 years. Asked if a new mast would eventually have to be replaced with an even taller one in 15 or 20 years, he said he wouldn't be able to answer that. The DMC had put granting permission on hold at its July meeting because it felt that it had not been explained properly why the new mast could not be erected in the same place as the original. The new site moves a mast 27 foot closer to a public piece of art, Above and Below, which celebrates Uphall's transition from an agricultural village to the heart of the shale mining industry. The initial DMC meeting was told that the applicant was asked by planning officers whether the siting of the new mast could be on the precise footprint of the existing one. They were told that this was not technically feasible because of the location of the existing cabinets, HSE requirements and continuation of mobile phone service provision during the construction works. Councillors have expressed concern about the maintenance of shabby equipment cabinets, and the Village Community Council had also objected.
Watchdog to review cafe issue, an article by Stuart Somerville. Campaigners who lost a battle to save a community cafe in a West Lothian elderly care complex have taken their cause to national financial watchdogs. West Lothian's Integration Joint Board agreed to close the cafe in Bathgate's Rosemount Gardens complex to save £136,000 in staffing costs. A campaign formed at the start of the year has told Audit Scotland that the West Lothian board members made their controversial decision on information which was misleading, inaccurate, contradictory and incomplete. Audit Scotland reports in a range of ways on the performance and finances of Scotland's public bodies. A detailed letter of complaint has been sent to Colin Crosby, the chairman of Audit Scotland. Copied into the letter are Graham Hope, the Chief Executive of West Lothian Council, Professor Caroline Hiscox, the Chief Executive of NHS Lothian Health Board, and the Chair of the local IJB, Councillor Tom Conn. The complaint asks the agency to examine the financial background to the closure decision. It states the board and others failed to understand or fully consider the remit of the IJB. The high-level consultation was vague, and despite requests, no detail was given on the number of participants, their responses or details. There was nothing in the reports to evaluate the service requirements and associated costs that would be needed to fill many of the customer issues that would have to be addressed by the removal of this facility. It adds this was not just a cafe, but a purpose design of the build to address social integration to help avoid institutional isolation. Over the summer, the campaign worked with the local 50 Plus network and staff from the Council's Business Gateway team to put together a business plan to operate the Rosemount Cafe space. The plans proposed a hybrid operation with Council's financial input being reduced gradually over the year. However, at the meeting of the IJB in mid-August, board members, including West Lothian councillors, were told the business plan was flawed with unsustainable risks and no guarantee that savings could be made. The campaign's complaint to Audit Scotland says that the efforts to prepare the case for saviour were stymied by public bodies. The letter states the lack of management information involved with the cafe resulted in a near impossible task to put together a proposal of a coherent business plan from possible alternative operators. Despite this, there were credible steps taken to put together a proposal to consider the option for keeping the cafe operational. This included input from other council officers. It was clear from this engagement that it confirmed the information presented in the report to the board was flawed. It was also pointed out that the requirement for VAT liability may put any planned proposal out of reach to be viable. The concern is that in order to meet the call to identify budget cut targets, a proposal was suggested to remove the cafe. It could be justified as not being a statutory service to the IJB were required to provide. A report that was seriously flawed was put together with the expectation that it would not be challenged. In conclusion, the campaigners say, as the lack of financial details throughout this process has been extremely concerning, we request Audit Scotland to look into the lack of accountability and failure to provide financial details as requested from the IJB. We also ask Audit Scotland to look at the possible liability for VAT that may have existed for the last 9 years the cafe has been operating.
Blackmail victim paid out £4,500, an unattributed article. The victim of a blackmail plot paid £4,500 to stop an explicit photograph being sent to neighbours, the police and his employer. The man received 14 handwritten notes demanding cash over a 3-week period. Athan Davis, 23, of Ogilvie Crescent, Fauldhouse, appeared at Hamilton Sheriff Court last week. He admitted that, while acting with an accomplice, he extorted the cash after repeated visits to the victim's home in Harthill in 2023. The court heard the man eventually told Davis he couldn't pay anymore and reported the matter to police. Robbie McDougall, prosecuting, said it all started after the man sent an intimate photo of himself to a woman. On July 27, 2023, Davis turned up at the man's door with a letter demanding £1,000 by 6 p.m. that day. He showed the man the explicit photo on his phone and warned it would be disclosed to people if he didn't cooperate. Over the next 3 weeks, a total of 14 handwritten notes demanding cash were delivered. Mr McDougall told the court a pattern was established whereby the accused attended at the man's home and accompanied him to an ATM where cash would be withdrawn. The man couldn't remember how much money he provided, but bank statements showed it to be £4,500. The next day he told family members what had happened and, on their advice, reported the matter to the police. When Davis was confronted by police officers, he denied the allegations, but his fingerprints were found on 13 of the 14 handwritten notes. Defence lawyer Matthew Ferguson said his client now takes full responsibility and is keen to repay the money. Sheriff Michael Higgins deferred sentence until next month for background reports and an electronic tagging assessment.
This next article is entitled Renaissance Shows There Is Always Room at the Top, and it's a article by Michael Pringle. A famous venue in West Lothian that once drew some of the top-named DJs from the world of dance music is enjoying a well-deserved renaissance. The purpose-built Room at the Top, or RATT, RAT, in Bathgate, launched as a super club during the 90s, featuring 5 different rooms, and for a spell was a mecca for clubbers from across central Scotland and further afield. Big names from the electronic dance music scene regularly appeared to entertain crowds at the venue, such as Ferry Corsten, John Digweed, Jeremy Healy, Alex P, and even former boxer Nigel Benn. Events such as those by promoters such as Colours attracted huge crowds, with the state-of-the-art venue able to hold over 2,000 people. The club in Menzies Road ended up closing its doors around 2 decades ago and was most recently home to a children's soft play. It reopened last year and is now back hosting DJ nights and live music events, providing a much-needed spark for all ages in the town's nightlife scene. On September the 6th, the venue was packed as Scottish DJ and producer Mark Sherry was on the decks with his high-energy tech and trance, with support coming from James Black. On October the 4th, George Bowie will be joined by Michael Smith, Stevie Lennon and Fergie. And a fortnight later, on Saturday, October the 18th, there will be a techno and at the top takeover when Gary Beck, Valhalla and Oshi 303 entertain the crowd. 2 dates in December will bring Massive and QFX and Scott Project and Agnelli and Nelson to Rat. If dance music isn't quite your thing, then there's still plenty to choose from at the Live Lounge at Rat. On Saturday, September the 27th, there's an I Love 80s night. October the 11th, we'll see an Oktoberfest party featuring the Jaeger Maestros and Umpha band. November the 1st, we'll see a Queen tribute night. And November the 15th will feature Oasis and Stone Roses tribute bands. The month will round off with a Ska Madness night on November the 29th. The club is still owned by husband and wife team Elizabeth and Billy Ferguson. Somewhat unsurprisingly, their son Andy F is a DJ. Billy said, "We own the building and built it from scratch. The venue's a bit smaller now, as it's just the main room and Studio 3 at the back, but it's still quite big. It's working well, to be fair. We have a Rat Classics night on December the 13th with Scott Project and Agnelli and Nelson, and that will be all the classics from back in the day. It will be quite a lot. It will bring quite a lot of the older ones back who used to come to Rat. More information is available on Rat's social media channels. Tickets for events at Room at the Top are available in advance from www.skiddle.com. And before I show you the picture, I would apologise for the pronunciation of some of those band names. I'm sure I got them wrong. But there's a picture of the Room at the Top interior back in the day with with one of the evenings going on there and people dancing.
New acting head teacher at Deans High. Caroline Bleach is the new acting head teacher of Deans Community High School in Livingston. She will be familiar there to many of the Deans school community, having served as deputy head teacher for the past 8 years. The former PE teacher joined Deans from DL High School in Motherwell, where she also served as principal teacher of pupil support and acting deputy head teacher. Mrs. Bleach started her teaching career in her home area of Fife after graduating from Edinburgh University with a degree in PE teaching. She also spent a year travelling in Australia and New Zealand. A mum of 2 teenage daughters, she enjoys active outdoor pursuits and the gym in her free time. Mrs. Bleach said, "I am delighted to be appointed as acting head teacher of Deans Community High School in Livingston. As a member of the school community for over 8 years, I have got to know the pupils and families well, and I look forward to continuing on this journey with them. Deans is a vibrant school community, and our young people continue to inspire me every day to constantly do better for them." And this is accompanied by the new deputy head teacher, and on either side of her are 2 of the pupils.
MSP's Independence Pledge, an article by Michael Pringle. Angela Constance has claimed that it's both unacceptable and unsustainable for Westminster to deny the people of Scotland the right to determine its future. The Amman Valley MSP insisted it should be up to all of us to determine Scotland's future. Her words follow the publication of the SNP Scottish Government paper, Your Right to Decide. First Minister John Swinney underlined the SNP's belief that it is for the people of Scotland to decide their constitutional future. He also highlighted the hypocrisy of Westminster parties who claim the UK is a voluntary union while blocking the rights of Scots to choose. This comes after a new poll showed that a majority of people in Scotland agree that it should be for Scots themselves to decide the nation's future. Angela Constance, MSP, said, "In a democratic nation like Scotland, it is fundamental that people are able to decide their future, and the people of Amman Valley are no different." Despite Westminster's claims that Scotland is part of a so-called voluntary union, their parties do not want you to have a say. That is both unacceptable and unsustainable. The SNP is clear. By voting for an SNP majority in 2026, we can secure your right to decide Scotland's future. This will give Scotland the opportunity of a fresh start through independence. Labour's new Scottish Secretary, Douglas Alexander, was repeatedly asked during an interview on BBC Scotland's Sunday show if Scotland was in a voluntary union. He failed to confirm how Scotland would democratically leave the union, but said that the constitutional framework that had been in place in 2014 remains in place today.
Lionesses pay penalty late on in Saint Straw, an article by Kieran Loughran. St Johnstone secured a draw with a penalty at the death as the Lionesses gained a point in SWPL2. The home side wasted no time getting the game up and running as Justine Strain latched onto a lofted through ball from fullback Erin Maguire before rounding Cochrane to put Livy ahead. The Saints' defence would be tested further in the first half as appeals for a penalty after a foul on Vivian Strain preceded multiple big chances for Strain and Megan Whiteford, with neither able to find a way past the goalkeeper. Both sides were forced into first-half changes in what was a physical first half of football, with Eve Donald making way for Georgia McGurk after a late challenge, putting the centre-back out of action for the afternoon. Livingston looked to start the second half as they started the first, with debutant midfielder Emily Morton unlucky to not get the better of Cochrane after racing past her marker. Livingston would persevere with a direct approach in search of a crucial second goal, but Vivian and Justine Strain were unlucky to be caught by the offside flag on multiple occasions. St Johnstone would make a rare venture into the Livy area late on, and a clattering of 3 players was enough for the referee to award a penalty to the away side. Saint Star Simpson was unable to beat Chloe Gibney from the spot on 2 attempts, but after the officials twice ruled Gibney to be off her line, the forward equalised at the third time of asking. Forced to push for a late winner, Livy continued to drive forward. Leah Daly was denied a late match winner as her driven shot was hit straight at Cochrane and the visitors were able to see out the game for a draw. The Lionesses stay 7th in SWPL2, just ahead of Saints on goal difference, and this Sunday they host Gartcairn. Kick-off is 4 p.m.
Poster Child for Bravery, an article by Judith Toner. A courageous Blantyre schoolgirl has become the face of a nationwide campaign to mark Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. Fern Stewart features on Cancer Research UK's new posters, currently featuring in 500 of the charity shops across the country to promote their Gold Ribbon Pin Badge fundraising campaign. The 6-year-old, who is in remission from leukaemia, visited the Bells Hill store with parents Gary and Paula and little brother Joseph for a first look at the poster, which shows her ringing a rainbow bell to mark the end of her treatment at the Royal Hospital for Children in Glasgow 3 months ago, as well as a picture of her enjoying a squirrel trail on a family holiday to Aviemore earlier this year. Fern was diagnosed with acute lymphoblastic leukemia, a cancer of the white blood cells, in April 2023 at the age of just 4, after being rushed to the Royal Hospital for Children in Glasgow in a blue light ambulance from University Hospital Wishaw, after weeks of symptoms including bruises, pains in her legs, night sweats, weight loss and repeated infections. She immediately spent 6 weeks in hospital and has undergone months of chemotherapy, which she completed in May, and is one of the first participants in Scotland to take part in the UK arm of the Europe-wide Altogether One clinical trial, aiming to give each child or young adult the right amount of treatment to cure their leukaemia and stop it from coming back, while keeping the side effects as low as possible. Now she is the face of Cancer Research UK's campaign, asking supporters to pick up a gold ribbon badge, the symbol of childhood cancer awareness, during the current month-long campaign, to help fund their research supporting more than 300 children and young people who are diagnosed with cancer in Scotland each year. Fern's dad Gary said, "Ringing the end of treatment bell in hospital brought so much light, pride and excitement after a time that had been incredibly hard for Fern and all of our family." Her story highlights the power of research, and we're so proud that she's part of this important campaign that could drive more of the progress she's been fortunate to benefit from. Her poster in hundreds of shops is an incredible celebration of how far Fern has come. She's loving school, rainbows, swimming lessons, and it's felt wonderful to return to all of these things. We're immensely proud of Fern for taking part in the clinical trial. The progress that has been made in improving the outlook for children with leukaemia is only possible because of organisations like Cancer Research UK and the courage of young people who took part in research before Fern, and by joining the trial, she's helping to create a brighter future for others who will face the same journey. An article on the Cancer Research UK website about symptoms of cancer in children had prompted parents Paula and Gary to get advice, and on the day of Fern's hospital appointment, she had also developed a purple rash on her skin. Gary added, "When Fern was diagnosed, we knew the road ahead would be tough. Treatment had so many side effects, from losing her hair to feeling unwell and missing out on normal childhood moments. We braced ourselves for how hard it might be in Fern, but she showed incredible resilience. As soon as she was well enough, she was back in the hospital playroom, determined to keep seeking the positives through it all. And we decided early on that if Fern could stay strong, then we had to as well. Despite the challenges Fern has faced, everything with such courage and more often than not with a smile." Fern received the Children and Young People Star Award from Cancer Research UK last year in recognition of the courage she has shown, as well as sharing her cancer experiences with renowned children's poet and author Joseph Coelho for a poignant poem, and was also invited to open the charity's huge new shopping premises at Crown Street Retail Park in Glasgow, cutting the ribbon at the opening ceremony watched by her proud family. Paula and Gary Stewart hope to raise vital awareness and funds to save the lives of more youngsters like Fern, who is now in Primary 2 at St Joseph's in Blantyre. Cancer Research UK say more than 9 in 10 children and young people who are prescribed cancer drugs in the UK receive at least one drug that the charity has helped to develop, and that their work has contributed to around 34,500 young cancer patients over the past 50 years surviving into adulthood. Lisa Adams, the charity's spokeswoman in Scotland, said, "Cancer is different in children and young people, from the types of cancers that affect this age group to the long-term effects of treatments such as hearing loss and infertility. So it needs a different and dedicated approach that we're grateful to our supporters across Scotland for helping to make possible. Their generosity is enabling our scientists to unlock discoveries about these cancers and translate them into new and better ways to diagnose and treat them. So, this Childhood Cancer Awareness Month, we hope people will get behind our mission to ensure more youngsters live longer, better lives, free from the fear of cancer. Gold ribbon pin badges can be picked up in Cancer Research UK shops, including those in Motherwell, Wishaw, Coatbridge and Bells Hill, and supporters can donate at cruk.org/children and young people. No spaces in that. And you can imagine that this article is accompanied by some lovely photographs of Fern and her family. There's one with her in hospital receiving treatment for leukaemia, but she is still smiling. And of course, the photograph here that shows Fern beside the bell in the Royal Hospital for Children in Glasgow, marking the end of her treatment for cancer.
This next article is a short article entitled Freemasons' Remembrance Service, Gathering to Pay Respects, and it's by Ross Thompson. And Freemasons from across West Lothian gathered in Mid-Calder for a remembrance service. Brethren from several lodges walked through the village in full regalia to the Mid-Calder War Memorial before a service conducted by Reverend William Watt, minister of nearby Kirk of Calder. Past Master of Lodge St John Mid-Calder, Tom Smith, reported that it was a key belief of Freemasonry to uphold fraternity, fellowship, decency and respect. Therefore, it came naturally to pay tribute to those whose past sacrifices made our freedoms of today possible. And there's quite a few photographs here of the service, and everybody's decked out in their best suits and Freemasonry aprons and sashes and white gloves. And there's a piper. and the pictures of the Reverend reading out his service. It appears that on that day there might have been a bit of rain because there's quite a few people with umbrellas up. So.
The next article is entitled Robin Cook Lecture, and the subtitle, Lecture Keeps Robin's Memory Alive. It's an article by Ross Thompson. Livingston MP Gregor Powton has hosted the 2025 Robin Cook Memorial Lecture in London, bringing together senior figures from politics and public life to mark 20 years since the former Foreign Secretary's passing. The event also celebrated the conclusion of the first Robin Cook internship run by Mr. Poynton's office. The event, held at Asia House in London, was attended by a distinguished audience including former Labour Party leader Lord Neil Kinnock, who addressed the gathering, and the newly appointed Foreign Secretary, Right Honourable Yvette Cooper MP, who delivered the keynote speech as one of her first engagements since moving to the role last week. The lecture was introduced by Lena Zelenska, a pupil at Broxburn Academy and the first recipient of the Robin Cook internship. Over the course of her 2-week placement this summer, Lena worked in Gregor Poynton's constituency office in Craigshill, Livingston, and at Westminster. During her time in Parliament, she met with House of Commons officials to learn more about career paths in public service, and held discussions with Parliamentary Under-Secretary of State for Scotland, Kirsty McNeill MP, at Dover House in Whitehall. Speaking at the event, Lena shared her reflections on the internship and the legacy of Robin Cook, describing the experience as an invaluable opportunity to learn more about politics and public service. She said, "It was a real privilege to speak at the Robin Cook Memorial Lecture and to share my experiences from the internship. I've really enjoyed my term working with Gregor's team, both in Livingston and Westminster. The opportunity and connections it has provided have been incredible. I'm delighted to hear the internship will run again next year, and I would encourage any young person interested in public service to apply for the 2026 programme." The Robin Cook internship was established this year to coincide with the 20th anniversary of the late Foreign Secretary's death. It is open annually to S5 and S6 pupils across the Livingston constituency and will return in summer of 2026. The audience also included a group of Livingston constituency Labour Party members and activists, among them former Livingston MP Graham Morris and Labour Party's candidate for Amman Valley, Jordan Stokey, who joined to pay tribute and support the new programme. Gregor Poynton MP said, Robin Cook was one of the greatest parliamentarians of his generation, a politician of principle, intellect and vision, who left a profound mark on both this constituency and the country. It has been a privilege to honour his memory through this new internship culminating in the memorial lecture. This summer we were proud to welcome Lena Zelenska as the first Robin Cook intern, and she has embodied the values that Robin Cook stood for: curiosity, commitment and public service. To see her speak at the memorial lecture alongside such as Neil Kinnock and our new Foreign Secretary Yvette Cooper was very special. I am grateful to Asia House for hosting us, to all of our speakers and to colleagues past and present who joined us to reflect on Robin's life and legacy. This has been a fitting way to mark the anniversary and, just as importantly, to inspire a new generation to carry forward the ideals that he championed.
Inspire Awards 2025. Starring role played at Inspire Awards, an article by Michael Pringle. Youngsters from West Lothian played a starring role at an awards event at the Scottish Parliament that honours and recognises excellence in academic leadership and creativity. There was a full house and the Parliament was buzzing with excitement as Inspire Awards 2025 winners celebrated success across both youth and business categories. Hosted by the British Youth International College, BYITC, the event brought together families, educators, entrepreneurs, community leaders and dignitaries, with Pam Duncan-Glancy, MSP, serving as Chief Guest of Honour and sponsor. Also in attendance was Anna Sarwar, MSP, Leader of Scottish Labour. The young West Lothian-based winners honoured for excellence in the academics, leadership and creativity were STEM wizard Kanav Yan, 15, from West Calder, a licensed self-taught drone maker who led a drone workshop in Glasgow recently with BYITC. He builds customs drones that helps farms, festivals and local groups. Young intellect Chinemawa Okari, 17, from Livingston, has never received less than an A in her academic journey. A gifted artist, resilient fighter, she has overcome multiple health challenges to achieve outstanding results, recently earning the prestigious Naismith Award for Best Academic Performance in her school. Dynamic achiever Arush Gushain, 14, from Livingston, is a remarkable achiever who won the Maths Olympiad in the highest age category and raised £3,000 for River Kids charity through the YPI event. A brilliant student and prolific writer, his work has been published on multiple websites. He never calls it a day without writing. Rising Marvel young author Kanisha Jan, 14, from West Calder. This brilliant mind secured the UKMT Gold Award, triumphed in robotic competitors at Heriot-Watt University, and is now embarking on her journey as a writer, preparing to publish her first novel. Dr. Rashmi Mantri, founder of BYITC, said, "There was a real buzz in the night. Pride, joy and celebration filled the chamber. Our young winners have shown talent, perseverance and creativity beyond their years, while our business leaders demonstrated vision and innovation that inspire future generations. Together they represent the very best of what Scotland and the UK has to offer." The Inspire Awards 2025 highlighted not only the incredible achievement of individuals, but also the growing spirit of community innovation and leadership across the UK. The judges were Barry Gunn, lecturer at Clyde College, Derek Timpany, Associate Dean, Business and Management, City of Glasgow College, Tanwe Bhattacharya, founder at Nikon Dance Academy in Edinburgh, was singled out for her contribution to dance and cultural innovation, inspiring her students and the wider community. She was celebrated for her performances across India, Scotland and Europe, and for inspiring the next generation. She was awarded Artistic Visionary of the Year in the New Business Excellent categories. 12-year-old maths prodigy, chess champion and gifted violinist Alden Arun, also from Edinburgh, took the Maths Grand Master Award. Dr. Mantri added, "This year's Inspire Awards proved that excellence has no age limit, from our youngest winner, just 6 years old, to our established business leaders. Each story we heard was remarkable. These awards are all about celebrating achievements, yes, but also inspiring the next generation to dream bigger and higher. Supporters and sponsors of the event included Whitebridge Financial Services, Masala Twist, Oakminster Care Home and ScottishIndian.com.
And that brings us to the end of this week's recording of the latest edition of the West Lothian Courier. Please can I remind everyone again to return their memory sticks by popping them into the envelope, and to remember to change the address label too. So that's all from Team 1 tonight, but we'll be back again in 6 weeks. So until then, it's goodbye from our engineer Paul, and from the readers who are myself, Wendy.
Good evening from Linda.
Good evening from Steve.
Good evening from George.
Good evening from Ray.